Spark Books here. Today, I'm going to explain the book, Secrets of Power Negotiating by Roger Dawson. Take care, enjoy the book, and have a nice day. Secrets of Power Negotiating 1987 reveals the tricks of the master negotiator's trade, based on time-tested principles that are aimed at finding win-win solutions for both parties of any given negotiation. It teaches the tactics and strategies for effectively negotiating deals in a wide range of industries and situations. Whether you're buying a product, selling a service, or just trying to reach an agreement with your partner, you'll be able to use Power Negotiator Roger Dawson's secrets to negotiate with confidence and success. Key idea number 1. Ask for more than you expect to build a good bargaining range. Buy a new automobile. You want to bring the salesman down to $15,000 from $18,000. Initial offers start negotiations. Do what? One of the most important power bargaining strategies is to ask for more than you expect. This prevents one of the most common rookie negotiation mistakes, giving up too much ground too soon. If you start by offering $15,000 for the automobile, you'll lose most of the $3,000 difference between your price and the salesperson's before the negotiation even begins. After all, unless it's his first day, he'll push back against any number you give out, and even if things go smoothly, you'll probably finish up halfway between your starting places. The salesperson and you will negotiate inside the distance between the two positions. Lower initial offers increase range. If you start low, the range will be so large that your target price will be in the middle. If you and your partner compromise, you'll get what you want. Bracketing is making an initial offer that makes your goal price the middle of the negotiating range. In our example, if the salesperson's asking price is $18.00 and your target price is $15.00, you'd bracket your target price by making an initial offer of $12.00, $3.00 lower than your target price. If you're the negotiator, you'll follow the identical rules in reverse. Say you sell widgets. Buyer offers $1.50 per widget. Expect $1.75. Your first counteroffer. That's $2. Bracketing your target price with $0 to $5.25 of negotiation space. Key idea number 2. Negotiating gambits are versatile. Asking for a better deal than you expect is essential to negotiating a good sales agreement, but it has many other uses. You can utilize the gambit for other components of a contract besides money, such as a raise. If you're buying a house, you can seek an unreasonable number of documentation adjustments, expecting the seller to accept only a few. The strategy operates outside of business. If you're a diplomat negotiating between two nations, you can start with considerably higher expectations than you think. The same applies to our other gambits. For simplicity, let's focus on sales transactions, which involves simpler circumstances with easy-to-grasp figures that don't need contextualization. We'll also focus on one side of these negotiations, the buyer or the seller, to simplify matters. However, the same principles apply to both sides of the negotiation. They only need to be tailored to the buyer or seller. Playing the reluctant seller is another opening move. To accomplish this, pretend you're not as eager to offer your goods or service as you are. You may tell a buyer you're not sure you want to sell a house because it's sentimental. This narrows the negotiation range in your favor. The buyer will be less inclined to lowball you in their initial offer if they can convince you of your unwillingness to sell. Your opponent can likewise play the reluctant buyer. They merely need to convince you they don't want your property. For instance, suggesting they're considering numerous alternative affordable solutions. It may tempt you to drop your asking price, narrowing the negotiating range in their favor. Key idea number 3. When bargaining, body language and verbal language matter. As you presumably know, power negotiating entails bluffing. You're utilizing that $5,000 offer to broaden your bargaining range and bracket your $7,500 target price. The owner is only being reluctant to sell his boat to get a better price. Flinching is another opening move. To continue with the same scenario, when the boat owner recommends a $10,000 initial sale price, seem shocked even if it's reasonable. If you perform well and the owner is a lousy negotiator, he may immediately decrease his asking price. Even if you don't get lucky, you'll convey your disapproval of the price more effectively than words. If you don't react to his offer, the owner may assume that you don't think it's too high, even if you say otherwise. This may make him think your counteroffer is a bluff and stick to his asking price. Words are just as potent as body language in negotiations. Next, use a basic 7-word phrase. Vice technique. Let your adversary volunteer first to use it. You'll have to do better than that, you reply calmly. Her next step. This gambit puts the negotiation ball back in her court, so leave it there till she acts. If she's a newbie negotiator, she may make a better offer before you make a counteroffer. However, a skilled negotiator will question, how much better do I have to do exactly? Set a price to set the negotiation range. If someone tries to vice you, remember this countermeasure. Key idea number 4, don't take the other side's first offer, even if it's good. We'll examine one last opening move, but it's crucial. Indeed, power negotiating's first guideline is never to accept the other side's offer. If you're buying or selling anything and the other party proposes a price, you can counteroffer and negotiate for a better price. What if you get the first counteroffer? What if it appears expensive? You may want to pounce. Don't. Imagine buying a used automobile from a friend. Ask his fee, $5,000. To pay for $1,000, you provide $3,000. Then, without hesitation, he says, "All right, sold. Yours?" This seems like a reason to celebrate. You beat your goal by $1,000 without negotiating. However, if the owner was that quick to sell you his automobile for practically half his asking price, it may be defective. You'd also regret not pushing harder. If you could get him down to $3,000 so easily, what would have occurred if you offered $2,000? Perhaps a better bargain was available. Never more. Imagine if the man rejected your offer and then drew you into a long, hard-fought discussion that ended at $4,000. You'd pay $1,000 extra, but you'd be happier. The man would make the car look more valuable by not negotiating the price, leaving you feeling like you got the best deal. Both sides win in a perfect negotiation. If you don't fight, the other side won't feel like they won. To protect yourself and the other person, always reject the initial offer. Key idea number 5, continue bracketing and tapering concessions in the course of negotiations. Negotiations have reached their midpoint. Your opening moves will have set a positive negotiating range. You and your rival must now move closer to reach a deal. In a sales transaction, the buyer will try to lower the price and the seller will try to raise it. One party made an offer, the other made a counteroffer, and now you're making more counteroffers. Use bracketing while doing this. Say you offer $140,000 to buy a house and the owner offers $200,000. Target $170,000. He drops $10,000. You can only exceed the bracket by $10,000. If he drops another $5,000, you should raise by $5,000. As the range narrows, your goal price remains in the middle. And crucial caveat, make sure the compromises aren't equal and that the last one isn't significant. You want concessions to shrink. In the prior case, you shouldn't give three $10,000 concessions, from $140,000 to $170,000. You'd have to say, sorry, I can't go any higher, to stay to your target price. This won't convince the other side. You conceded $10,000 3 times, in his view. If you're prepared to give up that much, why not a few thousand more? If you concede $10,000, $5,000, and $1,000, you'll feel more like you're hitting your limit. Key idea number 6, demand a trade-off. As observed, the middle phase of a negotiation is about smart concessions. You're giving up ground, but you're being careful. You're also demanding that they give up as much or more in return. The trade-off gambit is crucial to middle phase negotiating success. Never give without asking. For instance, the buyer of a house asks whether she can move some furniture into the garage before closing. Even if the garage is empty and you don't care, you shouldn't make this concession without a trade-off. Ask for what? Open-ended. Let the opposite side suggest something. If I can give you everything you want, what will you give me? This gives her the initiative. Who knows, she may surprise you with a better offer. First, you should always ask for a trade-off. It's natural to gain something when the other person requests a concession. Why not? Even if the concession doesn't hurt you, it may help you. Even if that appears greedy, you're setting a dangerous precedent if you give without asking. The other side will think they can ask for sacrifices without making any. Why not ask for more if they have nothing to lose? Thus, not requesting a concession encourages the other party to be greedy. The trade-off gambit solves this issue. If you start a pattern of asking for a compromise every time the other person does, they'll be more careful with their requests. Key idea number 7. Invoke a higher authority to avoid compromises and appear as a friend. You're a mid-sized paper company salesperson negotiating with a client. She requests you to include expedited shipping to her big paper supply order during the discussion. Knowing the trade-off gambit, you inquire what she can provide you. Her harsh answer is nothing. You appear stuck. Do what? Another middle gambit, higher authority, is appropriate now. This is pretending that someone else must approve your concessions or decisions. Well, I'm not sure if I can convince my folks to approve this agreement without an additional price for expedited shipping, you could tell your client. If the client doesn't bite, she'll have to wait for you to speak to your folks. Sorry, my staff say they can't give you free expedited shipping, you remark later, softening the denial. Your people reject, not you. You deliver. Your people are ambiguous. You may claim to defer to corporation, the committee, or family depending on the situation. Better vague. If you name someone, like your boss or spouse, the client may want to speak to them directly. You want her to bypass you. If you keep authority unclear, you appear as an essential intermediary. You can even act as the client's advocate with the authority. I attempted to get my people to provide us free expedited shipment, but they wouldn't. You could say, can we repay them? I need a solution. The authority is now an impediment that you, the salesperson, are helping the client overcome. This avoids the free concession and builds goodwill. Key idea number 8. If a negotiation stalls, call in a third party or leave. You've done everything in a sales deal. You've tried everything, flinching, bracketing, invoking a higher authority, but nothing works. Your client still wants free expedited office paper delivery. Negotiations appear to have reached a stalemate. How to overcome? If you're stuck, a third person can offer a new viewpoint and solution. A mediator or arbiter may be neutral. Even if he's on your side, it could be a middleman. Salespeople may call their managers. Additionally, an intermediary's words may be more persuasive than yours. Your client may not believe you that free delivery is impossible. She may believe you want more commission. Your manager's no can sound stronger than. What if the other party is adamant? What if it's about something you abhor? One of the most important power negotiating secrets is to be ready to walk away and show that you can. Showing you have options is one way to do this. For instance, you could say that you could sell the identical goods to other clients and don't need to make this contract with this client. Walkaway power is one of the best strategies to negotiate. If the other side thinks you have it and wants to negotiate a deal, she won't push you too far and ruin it over a single concession. If she thinks you won't go, she'll stick to her guns and try her luck. She may presume you'll give in if you appear to need to make the deal. Prevent this. Key idea number 9. Set aside a sticking point. Calling in an arbiter or leaving a deadlocked discussion is fine. It must happen. Before using one of these harsh methods, try some less drastic ones. Shake things up first. Depending on the situation, there are different ways. You could advise negotiating over supper. Discussing your hobbies or hot industry gossip might lighten the mood. By changing your negotiation team, you can invigorate it. The goal is to break the ice and keep negotiations going. Set aside is another possibility. This strategy is based on the premise that when a negotiation stalls, it's usually over one or a few of the numerous issues you're trying to resolve. If you're selling a custom-built product, the prototype design time may be the issue. Client wants 1 month. You want more time, but he won't listen. However, you may probably agree on many other aspects, from product specifications to payment arrangements. With that in mind, set aside the sticking point and focus on the other issues where you can find common ground. You can always revisit the issue at the end of the negotiation. It sounds like kicking the can, but it's strategic. After working through so many obstacles and coming so close to the finish line, the other party may be afraid to lose the agreement over a little detail. He won't want to leave a fight empty-handed. At this point in the negotiation, momentum and goodwill should make him more willing to compromise. Key idea number 10. It's easy to negotiate a tiny concession at the end. We want our efforts to pay off. The more we own something, the harder it is to let go. As we approach the finish line, we don't want to stumble. The set-aside gambit uses these psychological flaws to force the other party to concede in the final stages of negotiation. Nibbling is the next gambit. Wait until the end of the negotiation and then ask for one last concession or two. Oh, and the truck is going to come with a full tank of gas, right? You could say as you sign the $7,000 check for a second-hand truck. The opposing side will feel that she's earned that $7,000 by this point in the negotiation. A signature seals the agreement. She won't risk it over such a minor concession, so she'll give it to you. This tactic can also be used against you. If you're selling something, write down the costs of added perks and display them to the buyer beforehand. That will prevent them from asking for those perks for free at the end of the agreement. Use the higher authority gambit. You might say your management didn't authorize the nibbled request. Finally, shame the other side for nibbling. Put on a huge smile and remark, "Oh, come on," in a light-hearted manner to soften this counter gambit. I've given you a lot. Hopefully, this will deter them. Key idea number 11. If a negotiator grows greedy, you can retract an offer. Like nibbling, the following end-phase gambit exploits people's reluctance to lose things they've become attached to. It's a dangerous but effective technique to finish a discussion when the other party is persistent and pushing their luck. If so, rescind an offer. Imagine you're a salesperson closing a widget deal. The buyer counteroffered $1.50 per widget to your $2 offer. After much haggling, you settle on $1.75, and the customer seems ready to buy. He becomes greedy. He figures if you were prepared to drop 0 to $5.25, he can get 1 more cent. He demands $1.74. Withdraw your offer. This is two-step. First, inform the other party that you will submit his request to your superiors for approval. Return with the terrible news. Not only was the request denied, but your offer was too generous and must be revoked. Apologize, hide behind a higher authority, and present a believable justification to soften this gambit and avoid the other party's fury. "I'm sorry, this is awkward," you could say to the widget buyer. "Remember my $1.75 offer yesterday? Accounting ran the numbers and found an error. Due to raw material price increases, our lowest price is $1.80. The other side took the $1.75 price for granted, so he felt confident asking for even less. He lost it. After this unexpected loss, he may try to reclaim the prior price, forgetting about his $1.74 demand. Fixed. Key idea number 12. After a successful negotiation, sweeten the deal. Many of the bargaining strategies we've examined include deception, from asking for more than you expect to withdrawing an offer under false pretenses. If this has left a bad taste in your mouth, the last gambit lets you leave a negotiation on a high note. First, the typical use case. Imagine you've been applying all the Sparks gambits and doing well in negotiations, maybe too well. The other side is exhausted after all your compromises. His pride prevents him from agreeing with you. He wants to avoid defeat and save face. This last move saves it. Positioning for easy acceptance. Just add a freebie. Snow chains can be donated when selling an automobile. If you sell equipment, offer to install it. You could extend a product warranty from 2 years to 3. To be the last to concede, the freebie can be small. That way, the other party can agree while feeling like they won. This will let them accept the bargain after their earlier losses. You won, but keep it to yourself. Don't boast or suggest the other party could have negotiated better. Why ruin the goodwill you just built by negotiating with him again? Instead, pretend like he won and congratulate him. Let the opposite side enjoy a win-win negotiation, where both sides feel like winners. Gambits can considerably improve your negotiation odds. Asking for more than you expect, flinching, utilizing the vice approach, and seeming to be a reluctant buyer or seller might set a good bargaining range in the beginning. Tapering concessions, hiding behind a higher authority, and using trade-off and set-aside gambits get you closer to your goal in the intermediate phase. Finally, nibbling or withdrawing an offer can close the deal.
To view more content like this, subscribe. Don't forget to like and turn on notifications. The channel really benefits from it. I appreciate you being here.